Okay, so where do we begin with this message? Whew. I guess the beginning is the best part, is the best place. Time has shifted. There has been a time shift. A lot of us have been feeling it already, but this time shift, it's we humans invented linear time as a way of being able to navigate and order our lives, our experiences. And it was meant as a tool. However, the tool has been allowed, and this is by our acceptance of the idea that this is possible, it has been allowed to not only become the master, but to become a narcissistic master of all of us and enslave us in time. And the reason that we need to look at this is because it's not healthy. There's so many of us who are living overly stressed, unhealthy lives and paying the price for it. But what this time shift is all about is getting to a different way of being with time. We think of time and our year, which has just changed, but we don't see it yet because that's part of this shift. We think it has to change at a specific time, but it really changes at a specific season. And the season, as we go into, in the north, we go into winter, and in the south, they go into summer. There are two basically different years going on, depending on where you are. In the winter, you rest. In the summer, you work. In the spring, you prepare. And in the fall, in the spring, you plant. And in the fall, you harvest. And this is the way of the natural body. And this is the rhythm of life and the natural world. And the year follows this natural world. So it has already changed, even though the calendar does not say it has yet. But this is what's going to be happening. And as we realize this new way of looking at time as a tool for us instead of enslavement, and as we take back our freedom from it, and we live more in flow, in grace, in joy, and not in clock, yeah, we are going to see that there is there's the our the world as humans see it is shifting, dividing, and at the same time, and at the very same time, there will be two worlds in the very same place, but they are different worlds. They are different holograms. They are different illusions. They are different perceptions. There will be one perception where all of the people are in oneness and joy and respectful and being part of the oneness. And at the same time, on the same planet, there will be the other side that is all about the old ways and doesn't want to give up the old ways. But those who are in either will only see their world because it has shifted and it has broken apart. And therefore, all the stuff that is going on in the one that the other doesn't want to see, doesn't need to see, doesn't agree to, isn't happening for them. It is happening for those, but it's because it has shifted into two perceptions. We all choose. If we choose to be in one, we stay in the one. If we choose to be in the other, we stay in the other. By the way, this is not a permanent situation. We, humanity, have chosen to go into this new perception. Those who choose not to go into that perception will not remain in form. That perception is going to go away. So this division is temporary, but real for those who feel it, but not really real because it's all an illusion. So those who choose to stay on the side that is moving forward, they will be safe from the nonsense that's going on the other side. And we call that nonsense because it's all fear-based, and fear is no longer necessary. Fear was created so that all beings and the ultimate being could feel what it felt like to not have the love of the ultimate being, not be in the love of the ultimate being. We have seen that now from every possible perspective, and it's not necessary anymore. So fear is falling away. And those who agree to fear, if they are in that agreement because it fell away or is falling away, they will fall away also. But those who do not agree to it, those who agree to the new way, will continue on. And that is our basic message.
So what are some perhaps symptoms or emotions, feelings, things that we could be feeling if we're in that transition into the new way of time, like season?
Every cell in your body will be changing with the energy and is changing with the energy. It's a higher vibrational energy, and you all are feeling it in so many ways, down to the cellular level. It could be anything from what seems like random aches and pains. It could be completely, the whole system, a whole system could react to it at one time. It could be feeling nervous, or it would feel sort of like one used to feel in the old fear way, like there's no fear. You're like, what is this? It feels so, it doesn't feel, because it doesn't feel the same.
Right.
But it's just a symptom. And this is crucial to remember. It is just a symptom of the change that is going on, the energetic change, because as we all know, everything is energy. Every cell is energy. Every body is energy. Everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
As the energy up levels, so does everything else.
Right.
And so this is what everyone is feeling, even those who are choosing to the other agreement. They are feeling it also.
Right.
They just don't recognize it for what it is. And as long as those who are going on know that, know what they're feeling and why they're feeling it. Okay. Oh yes, bigger picture. That's just the changes. It's nothing to be overly concerned about, and it will do what it needs to and pass.
Mm-hmm. So it's reminding me of how I was telling you that I had up-leveled last week and had all of that symptomology come through, and I was trying to navigate it. So it could also be something like a situation, a happen chance, if you will, of meeting someone who sees you. Like if you've been walking around wanting to be heard, wanting to be listened to, wanting to be seen in a wild world where we could just cry about so many things right now. And then someone comes along and exemplifies hearing you, listening to you, seeing you. Wow. Like you said, what do I do with this? It's fascinating, and yet I've learned, because of everything that I've been through already in this lifetime, just allow. And you talk about flow, right? Just go with the flow, ride it out, see what happens, make sure you're safe, of course, and feel the feels.
And know that these other entities are coming at you because your light shines so brightly. And please continue to shine your light brightly. Do not make the mistake of saying, I don't want this, I'm going to not shine. This is not the way.
Right.
The dark is coming, even though the dark looks, oh, it's too bright, it's too bright, it's too bright. And at the same time, they walk toward the light anyway, because in their darkness, that light feels good. It's like the first ray of sun in the morning. Oh man, that feels good. I want some of that. I want to, quote, take that, which they cannot do.
No.
But that's the analogy for you and anyone else out there who is going through this kind of a situation. Understand, it is the darkness being called to the light if they choose to make that transition.
Yeah. And one piece that's coming through for me too is remembering that it's a partnership, and anything that doesn't feel like that reciprocal relationship feeling needs to have another look at, right? Not that we need to push it away or negate it or whatever, because we can still learn from it all. It's just, where are we going to be sharing our energy voluntarily, as opposed to it being taken and used differently.
And part of the learn from it. You mentioned something along this line. There's something that each can be learning from each and every experience that's coming.
Yeah.
And it may be, there are different entities interplaying with everything, everyone right now, but they each have something that can be learned. That's not that they are, quote, trying to teach you or give to you, but there is something that you might be able to learn. Each of us might be able to learn from these encounters, especially when you're having multiple encounters. There is something to be learned from that.
Yes.
Yes. That is the message is coming to you. This is something to look at.
Right. And in many different ways, right? Because we can get messages from physical things happening, different people, different music on the radio. We can have a bird fly past the window. We can see a feather in the hallway. We can find a penny. And in Canada, that's a big deal because we don't have pennies anymore. um, or we can have connections in our dream time, which has been really, really powerful for me, again, just this last little while. So it's,
and understand that it's all the dream time. So you could have these messages anytime and it would still be in the dream time.
fair enough. I love that. So in the sense of time and seasons, I really liked how you and your wisdom keepers shared in that sense of two seasons being on the planet at the same time, which is what we're already doing, right? It's just having that different connection to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's critical to remember, as every body has front and back right and left, oh, top and bottom. There are two sides to anything, but we each make a choice in every moment as to how we perceive that. If we perceive that as part of the whole, or do we perceive that as separate?
Right.
And that is the crucial part of it, is if it's part of the whole, it can be seen and respected. This comes through for what you've been talking about with the people that are coming at you. They are not necessarily respecting that you are part of that whole.
Mm.
They are separating you, which is why it feels kind of like angst when they do so.
Right.
And this is, well, how you know, okay, this is not something that is mine, that is something that is theirs. I choose to take a different path, and I'm going this way and leaving that behind me.
Right. And as you were talking about the two sides, my mind went there. They're the ends of, not the ends, but they're like, for lack of a better English concept, they're the ends of a spectrum, right? They're tentatively the extremes, if you will. And so in this new concept, perhaps, and maybe it's not, doesn't need to be defined, but my brain is wanting to understand it better. When with any two sides, there's always a middle zone, right? We have left and right, but there's the middle zone. We have top and bottom, but there's the middle zone. And with the seasons, there's always the transitions, the middle zones, the springs, the autumns, and whatever in between. And when you and the wisdom keepers shared of of that dichotomy, the seasons, if you will, on either side, are they also explaining that there's going to be a middle ground, or is that going to get stretched and there's going to be less of the middle ground?
A circle has no sides. Does that make sense?
I smiled immediately. So yeah, okay. Yeah.
If we see it more as like a horse, yes, you have this side and this side, but the sides are all working together and moving together constantly. It's all energy and it's all interflowing. There can be no this side or that side. There's just the whole.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. It's interesting how our brains really want to just make it
Compartmentalize.
yeah, exactly.
But the truth of the matter is, when we truly become one, everything, all labels disappear. There's no more labels for anything. It's all just part of the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the quote magic starts to happen.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? So as we're walking into this weekend and the full moon, if you will, do you have anything you want to share about the energies there and how to navigate things?
One of the things that so many of us are feeling so strongly right now, and it works right into the changing, the shifting of time and the seasons and such, is just an incredible, if early, sense of clean everything, let everything that's not necessary go, just just re-looking once again at absolutely everything in your life. What's serving, what's not serving, let it go. What's what is what is necessary to keep moving on. If it's not necessary, let it go. re-looking at ways of doing things. This is something that we've mentioned, and it's really good. How can we reuse what is being let go? Is it something someone else could use?
Right.
Or maybe we can use something that someone else no longer can use. But there's also a sense of efficiency. Like just yesterday, I received a box in the mail, and the box is taped over, and it's got a bright colored tape on a brown box. And on the side, it says to from. And on the other side, it says just like that, from box to gift. And it's like, cool, no wrapping paper, no ribbons, none of the trappings that are not necessary and are wasteful and are not good for your earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, that's really, that's a cool idea. I mean, it's so efficient. And so that's, we're looking at not just letting everything that doesn't go, doesn't serve go. Can someone else use it? But also the creativity of how can we make everything in our lives more efficient and better for our planet at the same time. You know, a paper straw that's in a plastic package is not very efficient. Whereas a box that comes in the mail, which is now also a gift box, is very efficient. So you're looking at how to be creative, use creativity to really be part of in the flow of the way the world or the as the world is shifted into two.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to be the ones who are going to move on, how can you make that even better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
And how that all works into the moon. This particular new moon, full moon,
Yeah.
this whole cycle of the moon is the shifting of the quote year. This is the shifting of the seasons. This is when everything is really changing for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy is really changing. And it's been so strong for so many of you. And it just feels like wave after wave after wave after wave. And okay, geez. Continue to ride the waves. And at the same time, understand it doesn't matter really if it's the new moon or the full moon. This time of change requires everyone to be everyone who's participating, who chooses to participate. It's requiring all of them to re-see everything in the light, in the full light, and at the same time with the compassion of the darkness and the restfulness of the moons. So you have both of them working together like the two sides that we just said, but there's no sides in a circle. They all work together.
Oh. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. Good visual too.
And by the way, as we keep going through these waves, which is exactly the same as what the moon does, goes through its waves, there's going to be, as with any big shift, you can think volcano, you can think whatever you want, you can think landslide, you know, avalanche, whatever you want, shift. There's going to be some less pleasantness. And it's just part of the cycle. That's the way it is, you know. The cycle of destruction and creation are the same cycle, just different parts.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in life and life itself requires this cycle. So it doesn't really, as everything ties into, because the moon makes its I mean, it affects people. The energy of the moon affects the tides, it affects the earth. Everything that affects the earth affects the people. Of course, that's true. At the same time, these are the waves. These are the, just, ride the waves, up and down, up and down, up and down.
I'm almost totally relaxed thinking about being on the wave. I'm like, oh, yeah, rocking me to sleep.
And that's kind of the message is, don't get so hung up in the details. Relax. It's going to be okay.
Nice.
You're always safe. No matter what's going on in the physical world, you're always safe.
Yeah.
Because the you that is you is the energy. Energy may change forms, but energy is always safe.
Oh. Oh.
And maybe this helps you or other people who are dealing with some of these other energies that are coming at them. You're just energy. You're just energy. You're just energy.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for all of this, and thanks to the wisdom keepers for sure. Is there anything else as we, I guess, close our chat for today you want to
Do
share?
you think you need more? We're thinking this might be enough.
I love your sense of humor. It's always good to laugh, especially with so much going on. Yes.
It is a necessary part of this whole process.
Well, let's end on that very, very joyful note. And as everyone walks into winter holidays, winter celebrations, just remembering all of these beautiful pieces and ways to be. Yeah. Thank you.
And we are always with all of you.
In all ways, too. Thank you, my friend.